Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to How To YouTube, a complete guide. Today in episode 2, we're going to talk about what your channel looks like, things like your channel branding, and how to think of your channel as a company that brands itself, and then finding the right name, what works, what doesn't, and also channel layout, like your bar at the top and your logo and the channel art, to make everything sort of look right, and also the layout, because the default layout on YouTube is awful, how to change it, and how to make it much better. So, let's get straight into the episode. So the first thing you're going to do when you want to create a YouTube channel is obviously think of a name. And now anyone that plays video games, especially massive multiplayer games, you'll know how hard it is to think of a name that hasn't already been taken. But fear not, my friends, there is ways and means and stuff. But there is a sort of few rules that you should sort of live by when thinking up a name. The first is, and the most important one is, it's got to be something that is simple to spell and remember, because you want people to remember your name. So you want something that's not got like XXX special character ZB XXX on the back, because people are going to go, oh, I saw that really good video from that guy, I can't remember his name and I can't search for it because I have no idea how it's spelled. So try and keep it nice and clean. It doesn't, it can be anything obviously, but try and keep it nice and clean, something that's memorable, something that's easy to spell, or at least have an attempt at and get close enough that YouTube realises what you're on about, sort of thing. And that is like sort of the most important thing. The second thing I want to talk about is be careful with your name if you're directing it towards what type of content you make. Let's say I'm a woman, hello, and I do makeup tutorials. I've decided to create a channel doing makeup tutorials. So I call myself Barbara's Makeup Tutorials. Now, that's a really good name, especially for SEO. My name is Barbara, so, personal touch. I do makeup tutorials, so having that in the name is always going to be beneficial. And then 3 months down the line, I decide, actually, I'm not a big fan of these makeup tutorials. I prefer vlogging now. I'm more of a vlogger now. So be careful not to tie yourself in to a name and having to sort of change. You want to have a name that you never have to touch. It adapts to everything. On my scene, on my niche that I do, which is Football Manager, I've seen lots of people start off with a name that's got FM in the title, but then they decide, which is for Football Manager, then they decide that they want to play other games, and therefore the FM is less relevant. And not only if you sort of removing that and stuff, you eventually, when you start a YouTube channel, you get given, if you look at the top here on my screen, you get given this weird, wonderful channel name, okay? And that's just on my screen. So you get that initially, but when you hit certain sort of small goals, you actually get to pick your proper URL that you can give to somebody. And so that's sort of, an important part of it. The second thing to talk, or third thing to talk about is your name taken? That's obviously a big thing. If you want to keep it short and simple and obvious without all the special characters, there is so many millions of channels out there that a lot of names are taken. Now, you don't want to call yourself PewDiePie, because you could. You could call yourself PewDiePie. You'd have to choose a slightly different URL, but you could call yourself PewDiePie. You can have the same name as anyone else, but your URL would be different. But what I do is basically think of a name. I'll talk. The history of my name is basically one of my dogs. In fact, this one there, just below the stairs in my channel art, is my dog Loki, after the Norse god. And his nickname became, he's an Australian Shepherd, his nickname became Loki Doki after a while. And when I was thinking of a name, I quite liked it. It's simple, it's easy to remember, it's easy to spell, it sort of fits. But if I was to type Loki Doki into YouTube, I would see hello. But I would see that there's lots of people called Loki Doki. But when you're looking at these sort of, what I tended to do when I was looking was like, okay, is there any big sort of channels that are called Loki Doki? Most of these are just very small channels. I'm not going to get confused with anyone. Nobody sort of makes the same sort of content as me. That's fine. The URL Loki Doki was taken, so mine's Loki Doki GG, which incidentally matches with with my Twitter. Cheeky plug. Follow me at Loki Doki GG if you have any questions. And that's fine. You can have the same name. It's very difficult to get a totally original name on YouTube now. So don't be worried about the fact that you might be struggling to get a username or to think of something totally original. It doesn't have to be like that. So make sure that it's not tied to a specific genre of what you're doing, but make sure it's fun, easy to remember, clean, no special characters, no silly spellings. Don't use zeros in... Okay, I think my internet's just gone down. Brilliant technical stuff. Okay, good. Yeah. But make sure, don't use zeros instead of O's because the person with O's is taken, right? Because that would just confuse everyone. They'll have a hard time searching for you. So stick to a nice, simple thing. It doesn't have to be something personal to you, but, it's nice if it is. You've got a bit of a story around it. But, just take your time because you're going to be stuck with this thing. So take a lot of time. Ask some friends what they think of it. All that, get as much input as you can. So this is a pretty important subject, your channel layout. I think this is still how the way YouTube works, is that when you create a new channel, I've just searched somebody called Loki Doki. They're actually called Doki Loki, with this sort of default layout. And basically what it is it's just a long list of uploads of your videos. So if you wanted to see the more videos that they have, you have to click on the right hand side here, the little arrow, and then you can scroll through. That's all the videos she's got, but if there's more, you can just scroll. It's a really awful layout. The first thing you want to do before you get going with all your videos and stuff like that is make the channel layout look nice. This is the first page a lot of people are going to see, or if not the first, I suppose most people would find a particular video, like they might do a search for a video, find your video, watch that and go, I like this guy, I'll check out his channel, and they'll go to this homepage and have a look. So I'll view it as a returning subscriber. So the first thing you want to look at is you want to not go on that one. You want to go back because there is the channel layout button. So it's this little cog here, and you want to customize the layout of your channel. And it says recommended for people who upload videos regularly. Add a channel trailer, suggest content for your subscribers, and organize all your videos in playlists and sections and stuff like this. So this is what it looks like for people visiting my page, and what I've got it as is, so this is for returning subscribers. I don't have a channel trailer. I'll talk about that in a later video. It's like hey, welcome to my channel, this is what I do, this is the zany stuff I do. I don't have one of those, but I'll talk about that in a future video. But I have currently my main first video. The most obvious video is a Football Manager, one of my most popular videos. It's the start of a long series of Let's Play on a Football Manager game called The Journeyman, with me looking homeless, which, to be fair, I look homeless most of the time, so that's not a problem. And the next thing is playlists. And again, I'll talk about playlists in a lot of detail because they are valuable assets to your channel, to keeping views and all this sort of YouTube algorithm stuff. But for the layout of this channel is that I wanted to get people to watch playlists. I don't want them to get to watch one video. I want them to get to watch all 10 of my Telltale videos. I want them to hit that play all button and then just sit and watch a number of episodes. So you can add the sort of playlist. You can basically tell it here with these. You can move it about and you can edit it and say, what content you want to show here. You can show popular uploads. A lot of this is sort of personal preference, popular uploads, like what you've posted, various different playlists, and etc, etc, etc. I think playlists are the best thing to go there because I think they are such a valuable resource. You can also add other great channels, like, if you've got friends that do YouTube or just channels that you love, you can add friends' channels there, stuff you enjoy. But I think that's one of the most important things, because I've seen a lot of channels with a lot of subscribers that have been going a while that have this really terrible default layout. It's fine if you've got 5 videos, you just, uploaded your mum's birthday party or so your friends could see it. That's fine. But if you want to be a YouTuber, you need to get rid of this ASAP. Play about with it. Get something you're comfortable with. You can have a video here that is your intro, or just one of your popular videos, the start of a series maybe, or just your best video to really sort of catch them and get them interested in the channel. But it is really important to get that sorted straight away. So there are two types of main channel art, and that is your main, what's called channel art here, which is across the top, and your profile picture, which is this little top left one here. Now, I'll talk about the profile picture separately because it's a slightly different way, but the channel art as a whole, and this comes down to branding of your channel. What you want your channel to look like is it should look like it's all attached, it's all linked in some way. Like a lot of channels you'll see is that the channel art is just some nice image they found on a Google search, and then each of their thumbnails looks totally disjointed and separate and stuff like this. So as you can see from my channel art is that it's a South Park-esque it's a South Park-esque scene, easy, and just with a little bit more personalization. So I created me as a South Park character a while ago. I'm a big fan of South Park, so obviously. So he became basically my logo. So he is Loki Doki. But I wanted to add a bit more of a personal touch to it. So I created all three of my dogs. That's Loki, my Australian Shepherd. That's Freya, our Spaniel Cross. And Ollie, our Lurcher Cross. I made them into sort of South Park-esque animals. And just to give a bit more personal touch, because the animals do feature on my videos, so it draws it all in together. I've also got this weird picture of a dude in an afro there, because in one of my series he became a really good player, and so it's a little Easter egg. I put his portrait on the wall, because why not? And then also I've got a little thing. This is the top of the TV in my South Park image, but this just says "Gaming Done Funny." So you can kind of get an idea of what I do. It's obviously gaming stuff. I try to be funny occasionally, attempt to be funny. And so that keeps it all in character. Another mistake I see people make is that, like I say, they'll find this lovely picture on Google search images, and you go, that's lovely, it looks lovely, but it's not related. It doesn't tell anything to anybody of what your channel does. I've got my Twitter link there, not link, but what my Twitter is there. I've also got like a little warning, contains swearing, because I swear occasionally, and I don't want little kids or families to watch it if they don't want to see swearing and stuff like that. So what I would say is get a nice image and make it look decent and make it sort of personal to you. Put a bit of time and effort into it. It's worth it. Even if you have to, there's plenty of websites where you can pay people small amounts, like Fiverr and stuff like that. If you have no graphic design ability whatsoever, you would argue I'm in a similar boat, but you can go to places like Fiverr and give them an idea of what you want, sketch it out and say, can you make this a banner? I'll put a link in the description to all the dimensions and sizes that you need, because the channel art does look different on different devices. I think on mobile, obviously it's a lot smaller, I can use mobile, but it's not to this long and thin. It's actually quite a bit bigger, so I've just got a nice black border around the picture so it looks good on all devices. But I'll put a link to all the dimensions. I think there's a downloadable template for Photoshop and stuff like that you can use to make sure you get the right size. And also you want to make sure that your profile pic sort of joins in with that theme. As you can see in my thumbnails, I'll talk about thumbnails in much more detail because they're an important thing. But as you can see in every single one of my thumbnails, there is this little green and yellow, so it ties in with the colours of my house, with my logo and my font of Loki Doki. And each of my videos either says Loki Plays if I'm doing a Let's Play, or Loki Guides and stuff like that. But I'll go into thumbnails in more detail. But it brings the whole channel together. Like, you can argue whether you like or dislike my thumbnails. It's a very subjective thing. Everybody has their personal preference on thumbnails. But what you can't argue is that because of having that branding, it pulls everything nicely together. Because my channel art is the green and yellow with the South Park. So is my profile picture. So is each of my thumbnails has a touch of that in it as well. So it brings it all together. It means that if they enjoyed my video and even subconsciously seen my channel, the green and yellow, then when they do a search and one of my videos pops up, they're going to remember me and go, oh, I like that guy. I'll go and check out another one of his videos, that sort of thing. So that's why it's really important to spend some time on channel art. You can change it when you like. You can update it, make it better. It's not something you're stuck with. Don't be afraid to try different things. But try and have some sort of tagline of what you do. Even a schedule, if you have a particular schedule, that's always a good thing to have in the channel art so people can see exactly when your videos are coming out. I don't have one because I don't really have a schedule. I try to upload every day, but I refuse to put a schedule there because then I'm tied to it. And then if I, mess one day up or something like that, I'll feel bad. So, yeah, it's very important to work on your channel art, but don't be afraid to chop and change and find a style that you like. But try and find that quite quickly and stick to it or similar theme so people can remember your branding. Remember, when you're creating a YouTube channel, you're creating a company. Think of it like that. If you're creating a company, Nike next week aren't going to get rid of that swish. They're not going to come out with a new, we're going to be a cross now, because people are going to go, who the hell is that? But everybody knows the swish. So think of it in that regards. The green and yellow is my tie-in. The South Park is my tie-in. And I might change it and add things, maybe change the room or make it simpler or something like that down the line. But I'm going to keep that overall theme to keep people that know the channel, remember the channel, a part of the channel, and just sort of, know what it is they're looking at. So now we're going to talk about your profile picture, and that's this little square picture up in the top left. And it's actually more important than your channel art because it's seen in a lot more places. Your channel art is literally just that. When somebody goes to look at your channel, they will see that this is your channel art. Whereas your profile picture not only appears here, but every time you leave a comment on your own videos or on anyone else's videos, it also appears on Google+. They will see your little profile picture. And there's a few things to bear in mind when you're looking at your profile picture and designing a profile picture, is to keep it in theme, as we've talked about before, but it's got to be clear that it's your channel. So it can't be something totally different, and it's also got to be clear when it's much, much smaller. You got to remember that. Don't put some like tiny font on it. Let me see. I've replied to comment here. So look here. I've replied to this comment, and you can see, it's nice and clear. It doesn't, the reading's just about legible. It's as small as it could be without getting too small. But the green and yellow, which is my main theme, is there. It's clear. And this works for, and it stands out. It stands out a bit, even when it's tiny like this, even when it's a reply as opposed to a comment. And this works for multiple ways. It ties your channel in and all that good stuff like we talked about previously. But also, some people's methods of helping themselves to grow is to comment on other YouTube channels. And it's not something I do or really bother about, but you can go into other similar YouTube videos and make comments. It's a popular tactic used by people trying to go. I am not talking about going in there and saying, hi, I also do Football Manager, so if you want to come check it out, I also do makeup tutorials, come check it out. That's just spam. Don't ever do that. You're just going to be hated forever and get banned and all sorts of good stuff like that. So, but what I'm talking about is you might try and make a really funny comment on a popular video to get lots of upvotes, to then, a few people might click on it to see what you're about or something like that. It's not something I do. I kind of want to work more just for myself. I don't want to try and sort of leech off others. But it's a common tactic used by many people. So that's all I'm saying. But the big thing with the profile picture is, especially in Photoshop, when you're designing it, right? Obviously, you're going to be looking at it much bigger. You might be zoomed right in so you can get all the detail, make it pretty. But before you sort of save it and think that's good, zoom right out so you're looking at it the size it would be in the comments, because then you can get a much idea and go, okay, you can't read my name, or that just looks like a blurry picture of a dragon that I was going for. So really simplify it, not too many colours, clear text, all that sort of good stuff, and something that pops, that people will see and realise it's you, and that's why the character is my logo, but the green and yellow is the key to that, because that stands out really well. If somebody's watched my videos before and they see a comment in their comments, they will recognise, oh, that's that guy. You know, and that's what branding is all about, linking it all together. So make sure, like I said, keep it simple, not too overly designed. Zoom right out so you can see it smalls and it still makes sense. It still looks like what it's supposed to look like. And yeah, you should go far. I don't know, you should go far. It's a profile picture at the end of the day, but I hope that helps you. So there we go, guys. Another video done. I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful out of it. If you have any questions on the subject we talked about in this video, then please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. I'm also going to do a live Q&A at the end of this series on YouTube. So if you want to talk, have any more questions or want to go a bit more in-depth or something we haven't talked about before, then make sure you join me on that stream. Also, subscribe if you're new. Also, you know, if you've got your own tips to share, put them in the comments. Let's help each other grow. You know, I'm not the world's expert of YouTube. I'm just showing you what I've learned. But if you've got your own tips and tricks, then please do leave them in the comments. Get involved, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye.